Welcome to Alchemy Avenue, where we transform in real time, trust the vibe, and grow on purpose. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement, a reminder that you don't need fixing, just unlocking. Around here, we laugh, we build, we heal, and we elevate, all powered by that deep inner knowing that says, this is exactly where I'm meant to be. You were made for this version of you, so let's expand, let's enjoy it, and let's keep becoming who we already are. Tap in. This is Alchemy Avenue. Welcome back. Appreciate you coming through and co-creating with me today. We'll have a wonderful and amazing, expanding episode today. Let's get to it. Today we're going to talk about the spiral way of knowing. You ever had one of those days where something feels familiar, not in a like a deja vu kind of way, but in a wait. Haven't I been here before kind of way? Same emotion, same kind of challenge, maybe even the same conversation, except this time you're not reacting the same. You feel different. That's what's driving in, the difference between the situation before and now the situation now. So that's a spiral way of knowing, because even though things may seem the same, but you're different, because life doesn't move in straight lines. It unfolds in spirals, expanding circles of remembering, refinement, and release. So every return to another layer of awareness is another opportunity for us to better see the situation from a higher vantage point and even do something even different, something that we never thought that we would do. Or we may have said to ourselves, if I ever get in that situation again, I am going to do this. That's a spiral way of knowing, because wherever we are, maybe sitting back, chilling right now, driving, at the house, sitting on a porch or doing whatever. We're going to just unpack this because this was definitely something that just came to my, forefront. And then I was able to just, move different because I knew that I know that I am different. So unlearning the straight path. We've been conditioned to think progress is linear. We go from A to B to C and on to the next. So, and then going from like one goal, one job assignment, one school assignment, whatever we're doing, we think it's just, it's just linear, this, that, this, that, this, that. So, but life, real integration, energetic life doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. It really doesn't. Evolution moves in circles. And when I say circles, not like a circle that's just, 2D. This is a spiral that keeps, ascending. The spiral reminds us that returning isn't regression, it's refinement. You're not stuck. You're revisiting something from a higher vantage point. That's the rhythm of wisdom. So I like to ask myself, where have I mistaken repetition for regression? Because even though I may have seen this before, or certain things keep showing up, it's really for me, because if they keep showing up, it's really for me to alchemize and pull the wisdom from this, but also be able to react and move different in that space. So whatever that is. So we can answer that honestly. You'll start to see the pattern not as punishment, but as an invitation. Invitation to just do things a little different, even if it's just the smallest aspect of whatever keeps showing up that you can change and shift. Now that your mindset, your mind, and your body is different in the way you perceive the situation, now you get to move different as well. Let's talk about the nervous system as like a tuner, because that's one thing that a lot of times I don't hear people talk about, far as when you go through situations and then just your nervous system being able to understand how we feel and unpacking that. So your nervous system is like a built-in tuning fork, the bridge between energy and embodiment. Long before we had words like regulation or somatic awareness, our ancestors already were doing it. So, back in the days, there was, foot stomping in church, they'll rock while they sang. They stirred herbs in slow circles, humming. And breathing rhythmically when we pray. They move energy through motion and sound. So that's already something that's being done. It's already in our DNA because we do it. We do it now. The spiral knowing through the body. Every time you hum to calm yourself, sway to music, stretch instinctively, you're recalibrating your field. You're not just soothing, you're sinking. So, you get up, from sitting down, or even when you wake up, you stretch, that's you coming into, okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for whatever's going on. Or if you just clap, dance, sing, hum, anything that you do that allows you to, you might not even think about it like that, allows you to self-soothe yourself to be able to go to the next point of your life or the next part of the day. We got to understand those are, practices that help us, shape how we're going to move next. And being mindful and knowing that this is what I do and this is how this helps me is very powerful, because now I can do this for me in any situation. So if it helps you when you're not even aware of it, now you're aware of it, and then now you'll better use those tools when certain situations happen to better just help you, stay calm and stay, clear about whatever may be going on. As you expand, your body has to catch up. You have to understand that once you get more knowledge, more get information, and once you get more comfortable with yourself and expand your field, your body has to catch up. When you start holding more light, more awareness, more power, your nervous system works to anchor that frequency. That can look like fatigue, restlessness, even emotional release. But that's not a breakdown. It's just recalibration. That's what we gotta understand our body and understand who we are, because we may go through those shifts and you may have had a big upgrade, but now your body has to really hold that space. So it has to go through what it needs to go through to, hold that space for you. Because again, we're energetic beings, frequencies and everything. So your body, especially when your mind is in a state where you're welcoming, you're allowing those different transitions, now you're at a space where your body has to be like, okay, I see, okay, I got the message. I got to do what I got to do to, add and, help, harmonize this newness that, we're actually in right now. So your body isn't behind your evolution. Sometimes it takes a little longer to integrate everything that's going on. So spiral logic versus the linear logic. So let's reframe how we really interpret it, all of that. So the linear asks, why is this happening to me? Spiral asks, what is this showing me? So having the mind to not take every situation and personalize it as an attack. Really, any situation, personalize it as an attack and say, what is this showing me at this very now moment? Linear asks for proof. The spiral seeks for the pattern. How do I need to see this? How does this fit in the puzzle of my life? Linear asks, moves forward. Spiral logic moves inward. That's a big one right there. So the linear mind wants to move forward and see things, in the 3D, which I get it. I completely understand it. However, you have to move inward. Got to move inward whenever things kind of break down or situations shift in ways that was completely unexpected to you. Move inward. So linear logic collects knowledge. Spiral logic generates wisdom. What insight can I gain from any situation? Linear logic fears repetition. Spiral logic honors the rhythm. Again, why is this repeating? What do I need to catch? This way of knowing isn't new. It's ancient. Even like when they used to do the old root work and people, before we had Christianity, and even then, hoodoo and voodoo practices. I mean, they talk about the circular motions and the spiral motions being very sacred. They mix, prayed, and sealed intentions with spirals. So never in straight lines, because energy builds momentum through the orbit. So the orbit of energy always is moving forward, always moving forward. And we ourselves just have to get in that space where we can accept and understand how we fit with that movement. And whether we realize it or not, we're still moving in circles every day. So like when you're driving, your steering wheel, use that to guide you. The spoon you stir when drinking tea, coffee, the water swirling down the drain. The rings in a tree trunk that mark time by expansion, not steps. So the spiral is always here. Spiral is always here with us and always showing us what the next octave is in our evolution. So life has always spoken in circles. The question is, are we listening? Can we hear it? Take that time and just understand, how am I supposed to interpret this? And granted, it's always good to get readings and you can get some interpretation from different things we view and see, but it's always great to go in and see, okay, for me at this now moment, what are my guides? What is God? Whoever you believe is on that next plane, not saying they're greater than you, but you co-create. What are they trying to show me at this now moment? Knowing through the body. True knowing doesn't happen just in the mind. It happens in the body. Your body holds memory, ancestral, energetic, and emotional. The bones carry stories. The muscles remember the rhythms. The breath carries the codes. That's why you can feel truth before you can explain it. You know stuff, and you don't know how you know it, but you feel it. Your mind's already told you, okay, this is the truth. And it's not something that you're like, the only reason why we get nervous because depending on the situation, who we got to tell it to and what it may reveal. That's the only reason why we get nervous, because we don't want conflict, or it may reveal something that we don't really want to, observe, or we really don't want to know about said person or situation. That's when we get nervous, and that's why we get that anxiety, because we feel this and we know this, and it's like, that's not, this is not what I wanted to see. Again, that's what happens. That's what happens when you start to elevate your awareness for yourself and then your awareness of your surroundings. So that's why you can feel the truth before you can explain it. That sensation, the chills, the warmth, the tightening, the softening is your knowing. So believe that. I call it that data. Call that data. And you got to process that data. Your spine is your antenna, the column through which light moves. When you breathe consciously, you can stretch. When you rest, you're not just caring for your body, you're refining your channel for insight. So this is a mini practice here. So you can stand or sit, breathe into your lower belly. Let the breath rise slowly up through your chest and throat. You exhale. Imagine your awareness spiraling up and outward, calm, steady, radiant. And then you can affirm to yourself softly, I move like wisdom moves. I know what I am because I feel what I am. It's not a metaphor. That's physics in motion, frequency and form. So the geometry of remembrance. Everything in creation moves and spirals. Galaxies, hurricanes, shells, DNA. It's a pattern of remembering ourselves. So when you find yourself looping back through something, same motion, the same situation, don't rush to escape it. Observe it. You're in a sacred geometry of your own remembering. You're never starting over. You're always starting deeper. So even though it may seem the same, everything seems the same. The only difference is that it's you. That's the biggest difference. And that's really the only difference, because it's the fact that you have the mind to be aware that, oh, I've seen this before. I've been in this before. This has come up before. And now you get to choose how you get to move next and beyond that. That's growth. That's intelligence. That's really brilliance on our part, to be able to recognize the situation. And then again, you get to choose. Integration practice, walking this spiral. So let's talk about how we can use this kind of concept and move through, how we need to move through life. So let's talk about an exercise and see how repeating moments in life are not stuck energy. They're refinement in disguise. And then so sometimes you may need to clear some energy. So I'm not saying that it's not like It's not like stuck, like, oh my God, I'm in the same space and I can't get out of it. So don't think about it as that. It may be stuck energy because it's being blocked. That's what I mean by life is, these moments in life are not just stuck energy, they're refinement in disguise. So step one in this practice, let's reflect, identify one repeating pattern. Choose one that you've noticed lately. So some examples, you keep finding yourself feeling unseen or heard no matter the situation. You attract similar relationships that test your boundaries. You experience financial peaks followed by sudden drops. You get inspired to create, then lose momentum when it's almost complete. When you're right there, when you're right there to be done, and then boom, you just lose momentum. Or maybe just before you level up, the old self-doubt starts whispering again. Whatever it is, so name it gently, but don't name it in a, when I say name it gently, like seriously name it gently. Name it because you're just trying to show, you're trying to bring light to it. So don't name it as a way to punish yourself. Name it in a space where you're showing light to it, because now we got to be able to, work through it and work through it with gladness and happiness. And it may not be necessarily a happy moment that you're keep repeating. However, give yourself grace because now you're in a space where you're getting it cleaned up. When you first start cleaning stuff up, it doesn't look great. It doesn't look great at all. But then once you keep moving and keep at it, then you start to see, okay, I uncovered this. So let's speak it out loud as evolution. Let's speak it as evolution. Now let's speak it as a declaration of growth. This is how my knowing coils into mastery about. We can fill in the blank about trusting my voice and being heard, about maintaining stability no matter what money does, about creating from joy instead of perfection. I love that part, creating from joy instead of perfection. About staying open even when things feel uncertain. So now we get to recreate how those situations show up for us. That's just, that's just getting to a place of mastery. So we can say it twice. Once to acknowledge the lesson, again to anchor the shift. Notice how your breath changes when you claim it. And then the reintegration, anchor the shift physically. Now bring it into motion. Trace a slow circle with your fingers. Maybe you do it on your body. Move your hips. Move your hips in a circle, and maybe your hands in the air. Let it be natural. Whatever you feel to do to integrate, you can anchor. So what I'm saying is that whenever you go through these different things and you say your affirmations and you do different things, get up and move with it. Get up and smile, clap your hands, snap your fingers. I call it burning. I just learned this this term for like clapping and just, seeing yourself in your light body, burning sound and burning light. I really love that. So that's just any sound you want to make. So the ancestors said it like that. I got it from this old book I was reading. So the ancestors called it that because it's similar to smoke. When you burn sound and you're burning light, the residue from the sound, the echo, the frequency that you're doing, it lingers like smoke. You burn sound, you snap, you clap, and that just creates a reverberation. And then when you burn light, it's seeing your light body within yourself and seeing how amazing and how powerful you are to be able to do whatever you're doing. Or if you just need to remind yourself that I am enough. I am more than enough to do everything that I'm doing. So creating these type of exercises are wonderful because it just helps stamp and helps integrate the release of the pressure, whatever the situation was, and you keep doing it for any situation. So just understand that you use those situations, and I'm saying you don't tell the story, you don't understand how they hurt you, but then how you experience them is what I'm saying. Because if you can tell a story and you still get emotional, you still are hurt, and you still are traumatized, then of course you still need to, work on it. But I'm saying, seeing that as like almost you put that situation at the seated at a table, and that's an example of how far you came. Like, daggone, I used to feel like that. And now I can still tell the story. I don't have to tell the details and go into all that, but I can really see that as like a example of where I came from. It doesn't hurt me to tell the story. It doesn't hurt me to talk about the situation. I feel empowered because I literally came from that, and I am still here with a sound mind. That's amazing and powerful. So that's my hope for going through these exercises, and just understanding spiral, knowing that there's always levels. There's always levels to this. So the pulse of knowing. Here's what I want us to just, remember as, we kind of close things out. There's always a next level to what you think and what you know. Because knowing isn't about gathering facts, it's about expanding your frequency of awareness. Every recalibration, every emotional wave, every moment of stillness is your system tuning itself to hold more truth. You're not falling apart, you're coming into coherence. So next time life loops back to something familiar, smile, because it's not a repeat, it's a return. And this time you're bringing the light with you. And you're bringing all the knowledge and all your brilliance to better do things how you do, because that's the whole point. We are so amazing, and we are so powerful in the way we do certain things. I mean, it's just no one can do them like that, and it works out perfect for us. So before we close out, remember, Avenue Talks. So if you want to connect with me, it's where we dialogue about any topic, anything that you want to unpack. What I want to do is just put batteries in your back about any topic, anything, any idea, endeavor that you have, to better just co-create and better just, again, see you fly and see you do everything that we want to do. So just, connect with me. I have everything in the description. Again, you can call 336-464-7881, email at Alchemy Avenue 859 at Gmail. DM on TikTok and Instagram, Alchemy Avenue, and I'm on Facebook as David Heck, HECK. So talk to me. Let's connect. So continue this to be a great and amazing self. Stay empowered and love yourself so you can love others. Ashe.